My father, once the person I loved and admired the most, has now become my greatest enemy. Chapter 39, Torture Ashton's POV. We had a meeting with everyone, both werewolves and humans. For once, we all were on the same page. We were all holding anger and lusted for blood. My dad told everyone everything, from getting Bridget back, to telling them that we are trying to form a plan. Now everyone is training harder. They are all determined to get Riley back, and I couldn't be more grateful and proud of them. I have been going to the cells where the Rouges were captured I'd shout, hit, and threaten them. Unfortunately, no matter how much I do, they do just laugh at me and taunt. Once, my anger got the best of me and I killed one of them. The cold part is, I don't regret killing him. I was currently holding a Rouge up by his neck. "Where's she?" I snarled. "Like I'd tell you," he said, gasping for breath. I tightened my fingers around his neck, making him choke. Still not willing to tell me, I questioned sadistically. My wolf encouraged me to continue to make him suffer, but there was a small part in the back of my mind insisting that I don't, because Riley wouldn't approve. When he continued choking, but not saying anything, I sighed and dropped him. He curled into a ball of coughing mess. I spun on my heel and marched out. Before I could leave, something caught my eye. A boy was crouched at the corner of a cell. His hair was too long. It flopped over his dull blue eyes. He looked about 15, which means that he must have reshifted not too long ago. He must have felt my heavy stare on him, so he looked up. He quickly looked away when his theory was right. "Hey you." I pointed at him. He reluctantly looked back at me. "Me, yes. You come here. I need to talk to you." To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He stood up and I examined him from head to toe. He was quite muscled for a Rouge. When he got close enough, I reached through the bars and grabbed his collar. I yanked him closer, and he yelped in surprise. "If you dare lay a finger on Jessica, I will hunt you down and kill you. She may be your mate, but she doesn't need to know that you are her soulmate." I unlocked his cell and dragged him outside. I sighed in relief when I didn't encounter anyone. I went to an empty field, let the Rouge go. Run away. I don't want Jessica knowing that she already has a mate. It would just take away childhood, and she's too young to be in a relationship. Come back a couple years later. Maybe then, he'll let you see her. The Rouge hasn't said anything ever since it let him out, so I can't see her anymore. I could hear some pain in his voice. I shook my head. "You can see her, but it must be done in secret. She must be able to detect you. Why can't I just be with her right now? Wouldn't that be easier now? It would make everything complicated. She would get confused at the sudden feelings and shed mature too fast." To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We are still looking for Riley. We don't need another problem. He nodded sadly. As he was about to go, he stopped and turned around. "Just to keep my mate safe. Paul's base is at the north part of the land. It is a few kilometers past the river." I narrowed my eyes at him. "How do I know that you aren't leading me into a trap?" He rolled his eyes. "Do you think it put my mate in danger?" I shook my head. "I guess not. Now you have to go to the other Rouges and tell them that you killed me. If not, they'll contact Paul." I realized that there were many Rouges that must be seen what had happened. "I'll see you in the near future. Hope you don't die or anything. But my sister would be ready to have a mate. But when I see you, I won't be as nice. I will protect my sister from you, whether she likes it or not." He nodded in understanding. "I'll see you a couple years from then, I guess." Then he quickly stripped, shifted, and ran out of my line of vision. "You can come out now." To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Not turning around, I heard a squeak and then a little girl came out from the bushes behind me. Penny quickly brushed herself off and looked down like a child caught trying to steal a cookie from the cookie jar. "Sorry, I was curious when I saw you with the rouge, she mumbled. Then in a more excited voice, to my agent extraordinaire, killer.丨heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Jessica found her mate. I nodded. Don't tell her. She smiled. I heard most of your conversation. I know how to keep a secret. I promise not to tell her. I thanked her and brought her back home. We were having another pack meeting when my phone rang. I got many curious looks and I decided to answer it for the sake of the person on the other side of the line. Hello. May I ask, is this Ashton Slade? Riley's POV. I was bloody and beat up. I was coughing out blood and my clothes had patches of red. I gasped for breath and let out a scream of pain as my dad pulled me up my hair. He smirked at my obvious pain and dragged me to another cell where a seat was set in the middle. A table was laid out with dangerous weapons. My eyes widened, but I didn't move because he still had a grip on me. He roughly pushed me onto the armchair and chained my arms and legs to the chair. Now I really can't move. How are you so far? Riley, Paul asked, stepping out of the shadows. I didn't answer but kept a weary eye on him. My dad went to the table of weapons and began picking through them. He would stop at one specific weapon and examine it. Then Paul pulled his phone out and began dialing a number on it. He set it on the table and put it on loudspeaker. I looked at him in confusion, but he avoided my stare and looked at the still ringing phone. It was soon picked up. Hello. Paul's lips curled into an evil smile. May I ask, is this Ashton Slade? There was a pause on the other end of the line. From the other side, I heard someone ask, to my agent extraordinaire, killer.丨heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Who is it? Nothing. Then a loud growl rattled through the speaker. Cole, where is Riley? There were gasps from the other side. Is your phone on speaker? Cole asked, taking his time. There was fiddling on the other side, then Ashton said, yes, good. Is Bridget there? Yes. Cole had a scary glint in his eyes. Then he cooed into the phone. Hello, my dearest Bridget. I hope you remember all your punishments, because your cousin is enduring much more than you have. I heard a strangled sob. I didn't know who it was from, but I think it was from Bridget. Cole continued. Riley is right here. I want everyone to listen to Riley scream. To my agent extraordinaire, killer.丨heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Cole nodded at my dad, who grinned romantically at me. He approached me with a shiny, sharp-looking knife. I pressed myself into the chair as far as I could go. Dad lightly placed the knife on my thigh. He traced outwards and the farther out he went. He pressed harder. My thigh was now burning with pain and fresh blood. Paul narrated what my dad was doing into the phone. I bit my lip to stop myself from howling in pain. Ashton, you should be proud. Your mate is quite strong for not hearing a single peep out of her. Paul said. I heard a deafening growl. Other than that, nothing. Paul then nodded at my dad again. He moved the knife to my forearm. My breathing became labored and I shook my head, silently pleading him to stop. Father ignored me and cut deeply into my arm. Then when I let out a small whimper, he twisted it. That made me go crazy. Cried and pleaded for him to stop. Stop? Many voices said from the phone. Stop. I'll do anything. Jay, just stop hurting her. I don't think Dave would like that too much. Cole said. What? I heard Spencer's voice. My dad yanked the knife out of the wound he decreated, making me jerk my hand, trying to get away. I obviously failed because I was chained to the chair. Father went to the phone and said, It's so good to hear you again. Spencer. Damn you, old man, Spencer yelled. What kind of father are you? Where is the father I once knew, before Mom had died? That must be hit a nerve. I could see a vein sticking out of his head. Shut the hell up, Father yelled into the phone. You don't know what it's like losing the woman you fell in love with. She left me with 2 failures of children. You are in no position to talk to me like that. So you take out all your anger on Riley? Spencer asked. I know what you've done to her. She told me everything. If you want your baby sister safe, you better shut your mouth, boy. You are testing dangerous waters right now. Father hissed. That shut Spencer up. I coughed, then lifted my head. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Paul in my dad's head snapped to me. Looks like your mate wants to talk to you. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Paul said, let me talk to her. Be nice. Then I'll let you to talk. Alone even. Paul said, can I please talk to her? His voice strained. Paul feigned enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He took the phone off the table and placed it on my lap. Then he and my dad left, locking the door behind them. Why? Are you okay? Ashton asked. Then there were more questions from other people who I was too lazy to identify. I inhaled a shaky breath. I'm fine. Just coughing out blood and bleeding heavily, was what I wanted to add. You don't sound fine, Spencer said. I'm fine. I insisted. I don't have much time. They are coming back soon. Just concentrate on looking for me. Why do they have to hurt you? I thought it was for you to lead the pack. I heard that it was to toughen you up. Or maybe they want you to hear me suffer. There was another burst of exclamations from many people on the other side. Those assholes. I heard Dennis let out a long stream of curse words. Is Dad really there? Spencer asked. Yes, I whispered fearfully. He came to Paul for revenge on me. Achias very angry that I ran away. Stay strong. Kanda, Spencer said. I'm coming for you. We are coming for you, Lucy corrected. I don't know, guys. There are many Rouges and Hunters. You are obviously underestimating us. Riley, Brandon said. We have the best fighters in this pack. These guys look really experienced. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Thinking back to seeing many of them with huge scars. Looks can be deceiving, Ben said. Then I heard the cell door open, and Paul and my dad re-entered. This time, he had brought another friend. The guy was big and muscular. He had so many battle scars on his face. It looked like his face was twisted to look like he was permanently scowling. So, had a good time talking. Paul chuckled darkly. Riley, this is Butch. He is a hunter and is going to be your guard. He will show you to your room and keep away any pesky wolves from touching you. I heard a growl echo from the phone. Don't you dare touch her. I'm so sorry. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. But your opinion does not count in this, Paul said. If a hundred heirs lay a hand on Riley's head, I will rip it off myself. He snarled. I'd like to see you do that. Butch rumbled. Ashton snarled again. Paul picked the phone from my lap. Say goodbye to Riley, everyone. Then he abruptly ended the call. He looked at Butch and motioned for him to bring me to my room. Ashton's POV once the call ended. I jumped into action. I didn't waste a single second. I told everyone what Jessica's mate had told me, without telling them who I got the information from. This was now Penny and my secret. Once it finished, Spencer jumped up from his seat. What are we waiting for? Let's go get her. Lucy grabbed his hand and forced him back down. We can't. Most of us need our rest. We attack tomorrow noon, so in the morning we can prepare for the upcoming war. Chapter 40, Preparations for War. Riley's POV. Butch led me to a very fancy room. It had a king-size bed that looked really bouncy. The sheets were all white with a tint of purplish blue on it. The floor was hard wood and there was a wall too, wall window leading out to a balcony. The drapes were dark blue, and there was a white fluffy carpet in the middle of the room. The walls were painted white and the only wall painted purple was the one behind my bed. There was a large walk-in closet and a large bathroom. If you are torturing me, why am I having a luxurious room? I asked quietly. Our leader deserves the best. Butch said. We aren't torturing you. We are just seeing where your strength lies. We also have to see how much tolerance you have on pain. Still torturing in my opinion. I thought bitterly. You should go wash up. You were beaten pretty badly. In your closet there are my kinds of clothes to choose from. I'll get cloth to wrap your wounds. Butch left, leaving me alone. I limped to the bathroom where I'd got my clothes. Once it locked the door, peeled my shirt off my body and pulled my pants down. I threw off my undergarments, then quickly went into the shower. I scrubbed all the dried blood off of me and accidentally reopened some healing cuts in the process. I was gentle with the forming bruises, but yanked at my hair to get it out of knots. I stepped out of the shower and painfully put on my new clothes. Every time I moved an inch, some muscle would start hurting or it broke open a scab. I got out of the bathroom and saw Butch waiting patiently for me. Beside him was some linen cloth and some healing stuff that I don't know anything about. I started to join him on the floor, but he quickly said that I should sit on a chair. He pulled up a chair beside me and drew out the cloth. He wrapped the strips of cloth around my thighs tightly. I yelped when he pulled on it a little too hard. Then he wrapped it around my arm. This time he was a little more gentle. Are you like my mate now? I asked quietly. You can say that, I guess, he mumbled. When he was done bandaging me up, he went to nurse my bruises. That night, I went to bed feeling empty. I curled up into a ball and cried softly. I missed everyone. I wonder what they're doing right now. Ashton's POV, I couldn't sleep at all. I tossed and turned, trying to get comfortable. I tried hugging my pillow, trying to think of it as Riley, but there were many flaws. It didn't smell like her. It didn't send tingles down my spine. And it wasn't my mate. I felt so hollow. I need something to comfort me. About that time, I heard a knock on my door. It opened and Jessica's head popped in. I sat up and rubbed my eyes. What's wrong? Penny told me something, she said softly, her voice trembling. I stiffened slightly. Did Penny break her promise? What did she tell you? I asked cautiously. A scary story. I mentally let out a sigh of relief. Want to sleep here? She nodded and scrambled into my bed. I wrapped my arms around my baby sister, glad that she was here. Do you think the Chewbacca will eat me? She asked quietly. I chuckled. Chewbacca. I echoed yes. She insisted. They eat people. Since when? Since forever. I tapped her head. Too much imagination. She slapped my hand away. Don't poke me. Sleep, I muttered. She grumbled. After a few short moments. Hey Ashton. I groaned. Yes, Jessica. I don't know why it's happening to me, but I've been having weird feelings. There was this guy who I used to have a huge crush on, but one day, I just stopped liking him. I can't sleep as well as I used to. It's like your situation right now, just that I don't have a mate. She looked at me but I turned my head away. If I looked at her, she'd find out about everything. I tucked her head under my head. Just sleep. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I went to sleep feeling guilty about two things. One is for letting Riley go and the other is not telling Jessica the big secret she deserves to know. One day I will tell her. One day I will tell her about her mate. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Wake up, huh? I groaned. Time to get ready for war. Jessica shouted into my ear. I shoved Jessica off of me. She flew off my bed and went through the floor. She appeared, coming through the wall and crashing back on the ground. She scratched her head in confusion. Get a hold on your powers, I said, getting out of bed. She waved me off and stood up, patting the non-existent dust away from her bum. She went to her room, leaving me alone in my own. I ran my hand through my hair a few times. I threw on a pair of basketball shorts and a loose-fitting shirt. I went to the kitchen and ate my breakfast as fast as I could. I jogged out to wait for the rest. They slowly trickled into the backyard. The humans went to the shack and us wolves went to train. I went behind a tree and stripped. I shifted into my midnight wolf and stepped out. I saw Lucy handing out dangerous-looking guns and knives. Then she took out a bucket that had a big label that read, Silver. Under the table, where all the weapons were situated, were more boxes with the same label. They came really prepared, Nathan said through Mind Link as he stepped up beside me. Yeah, let's just hope that most of them survives. They looked tough enough, and most of them have killed on missions. Nate reminded me. Have you marked her yet? Yes, but we haven't completed the mating process, he said, eyeing me. I looked away. I didn't want him to see jealousy swimming in my eyes. I never got to claim Riley. I might never get to if we don't get her back. Then my dad's voice blasted in my head. Cotton her up. I want you to start sparing. Cotton her. Mate asked, giving me a wolfish grin. I didn't answer, but lunged at him. He rolled out of my way quickly. He then jumped onto my back and made a move on biting my shoulder. I rammed him against the base of a tree and he let me go. I turned to attack Nathan again. I enclosed my teeth over his throat and squeezed gently. I win, I said as I sat on my haunches. Whatever, he grumbled. Then something caught my eye. I saw Lucy helping a special someone aim a gun. What is Jessica doing? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Nathan stood beside me. What is Jessica doing? He repeated. I growled and shifted back into a human. I grabbed a random pair of shorts and shoved them on. I began walking to my little sister and Lucy. I heard hurried footsteps behind me and am guessing it is Nathan. Jessica Anastasia Slade. What on this green earth do you think you are doing? Learning how to shoot a gun, she said offhandedly. What else? Don't, Ashton. Lucy cut me off. Chill out. She wants to help. I asked Haley and Taryn. They let me teach her. But, I started. But nothing. Lucy snapped. Jessica is now my young apprentice, whether you like it or not. By the way, the bullets in this gun are not silver. I gingerly nodded. As long as she doesn't get hurt during the fight. She has to stay hidden at all times and you need to be at her side every moment. Overprotective much. Lucy mumbled to Jessica, making her giggle. I narrowed my eyes at her. I heard that. Fine. Lucy rolled her eyes. She'll be with me through the whole thing. You could tell me that Lucy and Jess are sisters and I would believe you. Nathan said through Mind Link. Don't worry. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Jessica said. Lucy is one of the best fighters in the gang. Did you know she knows how to use any kind of weapon? Jessica switched her wide, admiring eyes to Lucy, who blushed. Then Jessica continued. She's even gonna give me a dagger disguised as a ring. My eyes shot to Lucy and I glared at her. What? Lucy grinned sheepishly and patted Jessica's back. Hey hon, why don't I show you the different types of guns? My eyes threw daggers at Lucy and Jessica's retreating figures. I have a feeling that Jessica's going to be like Lucy when she grows up. Nathan said. I think so too. I mumbled. Soon. It was noon. My dad was giving out orders to everyone. Jessica was standing next to Lucy and was admiring her new ring. My dad said that if there was any change of plans, he would mind link Jessica, who would tell Ben or Lucy. We were going to surround their base and when my dad signals, we attack. Some humans stay in cover. Some go into the building to search it. We will also be leaving some wolves and humans behind so that they can protect the females. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. And children, everyone got it? My dad asked. There were several noises of agreement. Thank you for joining us on this war. You all know that some of you might never see your mates again, but you still volunteered. I am very proud to call you my pack, the humans included. Then he said, bid your goodbyes to your mates, because we leave right now. Some pack members went to the forest to shift into their wolves. Before I went into the forest, I saw multiple mates give each other their possible last kiss. One couple caught my eye. It was Nathan and hugging each other. Erin was crying into his shoulder, possibly begging him to watch the house instead. Nathan pulled away and kissed her on the lips. I looked away, feeling as if I'm invading their private time. I shifted to my wolf and went back to the group. Hey there, Wolfman, Lucy greeted. Dennis and Jessica stood next to her. How does she know who I am? I asked Jessica. I told her. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Sorry for not asking you if I could give Jessica the ring, Lucy said. I mean, she could use it any time she's in trouble. It's a good self-defense. If someone decided to strangle her, she can just stab him. Jessica repeated that to Lucy. Are you sure? Yes, he is, Jessica said without waiting for me to answer. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Lucy mumbled. Then Brandon's head appeared in my head. Let's head out. It's time to get my brother's mate back. Chapter 41. Incoming Ashton's POV. We followed the directions given by Jessica's mate. We ran to the north and then I heard the soft rushing of water. I sped up my pace and when I arrived at the lake, I jumped in. I began swimming across. I heard more people join me. When I got to the other side, I was about to dash off when something stopped me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Jessica shouted through MindLink. The humans need time to cross. They have weapons with them. I snapped my jaw-irritated lie. Well, hurry it up. What happened next surprised all of us. Many Rouges jumped out of the shadows. There were shouts of surprises. They were expecting us. Looks like Paul isn't as stupid as we thought. A weight suddenly appeared on my back. I stumbled back into the river. My movements were slow in the water. I could still feel the rouge on my back, so I dived into the water. I wiggled around trying to free myself from its grasp. Then I felt a tingly feeling in my bones. I began rising from the water along with the rouge, who looked genuinely confused. When I was floating a few inches above water, I saw Jessica with her hands lifted. I knew she was trying her best to keep us above water. Beads of sweat covered her forehead. Then I noticed around her was chaos. Lucy and Dennis were beside her, protecting her from being bitten by a wolf. Seems like war has already started. Then I felt the Rouge's claws retracting from my shoulders and he was gone from my back. My eyes followed him as he flew up against a tree. I was lowered to the ground, and when I was close to the ground, I was released from the magic. I sent Jessica a grateful look, in which she replied with a nod. I bounded off to help other people. I saw Cole holding down a wolf and Jamie was beside him acting as a referee. 1-2. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You're out. Cole Peterson wins. He cheered enthusiastically. Now we have to kill the loser. He whipped up his gun and shot the wolf in the head. I recoiled in surprise. I made a mental note to never fight Jamie. I observed most of the humans fight. They were brutal and cold-hearted. I watched Spencer snap a Rouge's head while shooting another. I wonder if Riley knows how her brother's like. That thought brought me back to reality. I ran back to Lucy and shifted back to a naked human. Lucy, I shouted, yes? She turned her head, then shrieked and brought her eyes to meet mine. Please put shorts on next time. I ignored her comment and said, aren't they supposed to be hunters? She froze. You're right. Then she said, but what if they're waiting for us at their base? Jessica grinned. I've been practicing on killing many people at once. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Lucy shrieked. You are such a violent child. What have your brothers been teaching you? I am so proud. Jack and Austin trained me for self-defense. People will think I'm a harmless 13-year-old. Then bam. I kill them, Jessica explained. Dennis whistled lowly. I like this girl. Yes, Lucy said. Shush. So are we going to their base? Yes, we need to bring more people for backup. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. There might be too many for Jessica to handle alone. I quickly called for more people to come. Once there was a big enough group, we went forward. We ran north, past the river. When I smelt something weird in the air, I slowed down. Do you smell that? I asked to no one in particular. Yeah, Nathan growled. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. There were more growls passed around, confusing the humans. What's happening? Jamie asked. Are they trying to cause an earthquake to make the building fall? What building? Jamie raised his eyebrows at Lucy, then he pointed straight ahead. That one. Past the trees. We saw a towering building. That must be it. What else would it be? The Sleeping Beauty's castle. That could be a possibility. My mate could be sleeping right now. Let's go, Lucy said excitedly. I growled, making her stop in her tracks. She placed her hands on her hips. What? Can't a girl fight for her best friend? I shifted back into a human. We need to figure out a plan. We have half our numbers than when we'd started. I gave directions and evenly separated them into groups. We were going to surround the place, then the hunters will aim and shoot as many as they can. If some escape or hides behind something, the wolves will attack, forcing them to shoot. But that's when the humans will be able to kill them. We broke to our assigned places. The humans went into hiding under bushes. Lucy quickly reloaded her gun and bent down on her knees. She aimed at the closest hunter and fired, hitting him in the eye. A clean shot that triggered more gunshots. The hunter screamed and ran as most of their comrades fell. When they'd taken cover, I gave the signal for the wolf to attack. We bounded towards the house, pouncing on the closest Struge or hunter. Riley, I'm coming for you. Riley's POV all forced me back into the chair I'd sat on the last time. So what should we do now? Paul asked my dad. A couple punches on her stomach. My dad cracked his knuckles. How about the faith? Paul shook his head. We need to keep her pretty face. My dad scoffed. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Look at her. She's hideous. Paul rolled his eyes. Whatever. Then he smirked at me and leaned down. He placed a hand on my chin and forced me to look at him. What do you think we should do with you? Letting me go would be nice. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Paul laughed like it was the funniest joke in the world. Like I would do that. Ashton is coming for me. You better watch your hide from getting chomped off. Then I felt stinging on my left cheek. Paul had slapped me. He straightened himself and crossed his arms over his chest. Shut up. Do you think that doing damage on me will keep me quiet? I know that Ashton would never let me die. He'll track you down and snap your neck like it's a twig. Paul's eyes were now filled with anger. You know what, Dave? Let's ruin her face. Make it so horrid that Ashton won't be able to recognize her and Butch won't be able to cure her. Ashton's POV. I panicked when I felt fear coming from the mate link. Riley's in trouble. I sprinted as fast as I could to the building when I noticed more wolves and humans emerge from the trees. They must be finished off the last of the Rouges. I quickly called Spencer and Nathan to help me look for Riley. I rammed the door open and charged at the hunters who were scrambling to get their weapons. One by one, I ripped out their throats. I heard more gunshots and more of my pack members began appearing. I rushed through halls, looking for a place where Riley could be. I halted in my tracks when I smelt something faint. Vanilla. Riley. I followed the hallway, cautious of my surroundings. I peeked around a corner and my eyes widened when I saw a huge guy standing in front of a door. Then I ran and attacked him, baring my fangs. He looked at me in surprise but managed to sidestep, avoiding from being crushed with my weight. I skidded on the cold floor a few feet away from him. My eyes snapped to the gun strapped to his leg. As his hand reached for it, I attacked again. This time, he washed as fast and held up his hand to block his face. My teeth sank into his arm and I bit down hard. He yelled and shook his arm, trying to get me off. I held on and jerked my head, so it looked like we were having tug-of-war with his arm. Get off. You stupid mutt. He grunted. I snarled and pulled harder. Then I released him and went to attack his neck, to end his life. Unfortunately, he punched my snout, earning a small whimper from me. He whipped his gun out and pointed it at me. Move once and he'll pull the trigger. I growled but stood still. My eyes shifted to the side and I saw Spencer come out, holding a gun. Then there was a bang that rang in my ears. I closed my eyes, my heart pounding loudly in my chest. Then there was a thud, and I felt warm liquid seep onto my paws. Riley. They're doing something to her. I opened my eyes and looked at Spencer with frantic eyes. He seemed to have understood. He opened the door the guy had been standing in front of. Then there was an ear-splitting screech. Riley's down there. Chapter 42. Rescue Riley's POV. I heaved as my dad walked around me like a predator stalking his prey. I was covered in both dried and fresh blood. There were many open wounds in every breath I took. Paul came back into the cell, looking frustrated. He'd just talked to Butch, sure it was bad news. Dave, he snapped at my dad. Go get the van ready. We have company. My dad nodded and scurried away. Then Paul looked at me. Looks like your Prince Charming has arrived. Too bad you won't be here by the time he gets here. Ashton's here. Hope began spreading my body. He did come. Then I heard it. Gunshots. Growls. Paws hitting on concrete floors. HES coming. The van's ready. My dad said as he came back. It's waiting at the back. Cole nodded and approached me. He undid the chain that was around my hand and it shot out to hit him. He easily caught my weak attempt of defense. Don't try anything stupid, he said darkly. My dad came and undid the other chain. Then they undid the chains that were holding my legs. Paul forced me up but I lost my footing and tumbled to the floor. My body collided with the cold, hard floor. I groaned as Paul grabbed my arm roughly and pulled me back up. He shoved me forward and I stumbled. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Noban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I took in a deep breath and placed one foot in front of another. My knees buckled in weakness and my head was throbbing. My breath was ragged and I was losing blood at an incredible rate. I just want to die. Is she going to be all right? I heard someone ask behind me. She's fine. Look at her. She's moving. No, I'm going to collapse and die soon. My thoughts came true. Partially true. My legs gave out from under me and my face met the ground again. Get up. Paul snapped. Then I felt a sharp pain on my stomach. I screeched in pain. Then the next events were a blur. A dark animal came out of nowhere and stood over me. Then my dad disappeared, leaving Paul. Then another savior came. Spencer came with more people. One of them knocked Paul to the ground and then everything went black. Ashton's POV. Once I was sure Paul was unconscious, I shifted back into a human. I crouched over Riley's body. Riley. My voice barely audible. What have they done to her? Her face was scratched up and blood splattered everywhere. There were many bruises forming. Someone rushed forward. My wolf acted on instinct to protect our mate. I growled at Lucy and my eyes darkened. She ignored me and bent down to examine Riley. She reached out her hand to touch her face but my hand snapped out to capture it. I narrowed my eyes at her. She yanked her hand out of my grasp. she yelled. "In trying to save your mate from fatality." I immediately let her hand go. "Fix her," I said, suddenly becoming frantic. Yeah, I know," she said offhandedly. She did many things to Riley, like check her pulse, examine wounds, etc. Then she abruptly got up. "We need to get her to immediate medical attention." She rushed out. I scooped her up bridal style and rested her head in the crook of my neck. "Let's go." To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Spencer led us out. There were wolves standing around in the sea of dead hunters and rouges. Their eyes were trained on Riley's unconscious form in my arms. I brought her closer to my chest, highly aware of all the eyes watching her. I cleared my throat. "You guys go burn the dead bodies. Separate the pack members and gang members' bodies from the rouge and hunters. I'll bring Riley back." They nodded and I began running back to the pack house. I tried going as smoothly as I could so that I didn't jostle Riley awake. I began worrying when she hasn't made any noise ever since her scream. I sighed in relief when I saw the pack house not too far away. I emerged from the trees, calling help. My mother was the first one to come out. She cried out in relief when she saw me and shrieked in anger when she saw Riley. "Oh no," she exclaimed. She rushed to take my mate from my arms, but I growled at her. "Oh right. Yeah." He scratched her head. Then she grasped my arm and tugged me to the house. Come. Riley needs medical attention right away." We entered the pack hospital and Riley was whisked away from me. I was about to turn the doctor around and punch him when my mother put a hand on my shoulder. "No, you can't follow them. It'll distract them, having you watch their every move. They could do something that could paralyze her." "But she's my mate," I said stubbornly. "I have to see that she's fine. She's in good hands." I heard a voice from behind me. I turned and saw Sam standing in a white coat. "I'm going to be helping the surgeon. I'll make sure he does a good job," Sam promised. I nodded. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Take care of her." Sam then rushed past me and down the hallway where Riley disappeared. My eyes followed her back longingly. "I wish I could go in." "Sit down," Mother said. "This will be taking quite a while." I sat down in a robotic manner. My mother rubbed comforting circles on my shoulder and I buried my head in my hands. Wounded and unwounded people came in and waited for their mate, family member or friend. Soon, a familiar group came in. My mom left me to go give my dad a loving kiss. My brothers were already with their mates and Jessica sat beside me. "She's all right," Jessica said as though talking to her imaginary friend. "I know she'll make it." I didn't answer. After a while, another wounded person came in. This time, there was a big group following it. My eyes widened when I saw Cole lying on the stretcher. And Mother, Lucy was looking at him with wide eyes and Dennis was trying to pry her fingers off Cole's hand. Then when Cole was going to go behind the flapping doors, Lucy screeched loudly, "No, don't. I have to be with him. Cheers, my brother. Please." To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Cole. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Dennis secured his arms around her waist and pulled her to the chairs. He settled her on his lap and began whispering things in her ear. They must be calmed her down a bit because her breathing was as heavy. Her friends made a circle around her. They began saying comforting things to her. Jamie was trying not to cry because his wrestling buddy was currently unavailable. "How's Riley?" Standing where I saw a doctor come in. She was at the brink of dying. We were lucky we could save her in time. She has many stitches and bruises. There are quite a few broken ribs and bones. Her right ankle is dislocated and her right arm is fractured. The doctor said. I inhaled sharply. "Can we see her now?" Spencer asked. When he hesitated, he pointed at me and added, "Cheers, her mate." The doctor's eyes flickered to meet mine. Then he let out a sigh and nodded. 2 at a time. Don't need her to wake up and feel overwhelmed. We followed the doctor to Riley's room. He opened the door and Spencer and rushed to her bedside. I took her hand. It was very cold to touch, but it still sent tingles down my arm. I rubbed it comfortingly, not wanting to let go. Her face was covered in scars, but clear of blood. Her breathing was now steady, unlike before. It was ragged. We sat beside her for about an hour. Then Lucy's head popped into the room. "Hey, can I get my chance to sit with my best friend?" "Yeah, sure." Spencer got up and left. Lucy replaced his spot. I looked at her face from the corner of my eyes. She had tear stains on her cheeks and her hair was a bird's nest. Her nose was runny and red. Her bloodshot eyes were dull and full of worry for both her brother and her best friend. "Cole's dying," Lucy said softly. My head perked up. "What? Cole's dying?" Lucy sniffled. "Did they confirm it?" She shook her head. "I just have a feeling that he's slipping away. We're not twins, but we grew up close enough to be twins. Let's hope your theory is wrong," I muttered. My eyelids were drooping by the time I felt her hand twitch. I shot out of my slouching position and leaned over Riley's face. "Riley," a breathy moan slipped out her mouth. "Just waking up." I was alone in her room. Lucy D went back to Cole's room to keep watch on him. "Riley," I repeated. Her eyebrows scrunched up and she frowned slightly. I reached out hesitantly and my fingers softly brushed her cheek. She leaned into my touch, which made me smile. Then an amazing thing happened. She blinked her eyes open. Her beautiful blue eyes gazed at the ceiling before meeting mine. She looked confused, as though wondering why I was looking at her in relief and why she was in the hospital. "What am I doing here?" her small voice asked. "What happened? Is war over? Where's everyone? Why are you looking at me like that? Is everyone okay?" I cut her off. I crashed my lips onto hers. She gasped at a sudden movement, but didn't move away. "You were out for a few hours," I said when we separated. "Where's Paul?" My eyes darkened. "He's in a cell. We're going to kill him soon." To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Is everyone okay? Worried of my answer, I hesitated to tell her the bad news. Ole is dying. His heart is failing and needs an immediate transplant. Chapter 43 by Ben Riley's POV. It took a while for the words to register in my brain. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Dying. Heart transplant. What? Can I see him right now? I asked, suddenly alert. I tried sitting up but gasped where sudden pain bloomed in my stomach. Ashton quickly eased me back down. "Don't move too much. You'll break your stitches." Maya began tearing up. "Be you." I mumbled. "I want to see Cole." "I know." Ashton said sadly. "Can you call a nurse or something? Put me in a wheelchair. Carry me. Drag my bed there. Anything so I can see him. Please." I then pressed a button to call a nurse. She came in and did some checks on my physical body. She wrote down some notes and said, "They'll be back with a wheelchair. But Ashton, you'll have to make sure the IV bag doesn't break." Ashton nodded and she left quickly. I impatiently waited for her, my dying friend on my mind the whole time. When she came back into the room, I almost cried out in happiness. She unhooked me from the monitors and carried me into a sitting position on the wheelchair. I adjusted myself into a comfortable position and AHT pushed me out the door and into the hallway. When we got to the waiting room, I immediately saw Lucy crying and Dennis had his arm around her shoulder. "Riley," Jamie shouted in happiness. That made everyone look up. Spencer rushed to my side and cut my face in his large hands. "Are you okay?" "Riley, I'm fine. I'm fine." To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. "But what about Cole?" Spencer gulped. "Ben, He's donating his heart to Cole. I choked on my saliva. To our agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I coughed out. You better say your last words to him. Achia's going into surgery in 10 minutes. Jared said solemnly. Bridget stood next to him, wiping her eyes. Quick. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Let's go. Wait. Lucy sniffled. I haven't thanked him. We all ended up going to his room. We power walked to Ben's room, with Jared leading the way. Jamie knocked loudly and we barged through the door. Ben yelped in surprise, but his features softened when he saw our worried faces. Hey guys, he said casually. Ben, we said. Oh, Riley, you're you right. Right. I nodded. Come in. Don't stand at the doorway. Ben motioned for us to sit around him. We did. We surrounded his bed and looked at him sadly. Jamie was the first to start bawling. Soon, Lucy started hiccuping. When I go under surgery, Spencer is going to take over the gang. He can do whatever with it. Break it apart. Change it to some anti-child abuse group. Anything. Ben said seriously as he looked at Spencer, who gulped and nodded. Why are you doing this? Ben leaned on the backboard of the bed. Because Cole and Lucy are both very special to me, and I know what it's like to lose your brother. You had a brother. Lucy gasped. Yes, Ben said. He was killed by a drug lord in front of my eyes. That was the only reason why I started the game. To hunt down the drug lord. But a few years ago, a friend of mine told me that he has already died by someone else's hand. A knock on the door made us all quiet. The doctor poked his head through the crack and his eyes widened when he saw all our eyes on him. He cleared his throat uncomfortably. It's time for Ben to go. Can we have a few more moments? I was surprised when I heard my cousin's voice. Bridget begged the doctor with my identical baby blue eyes. 1 minute. He closed the door and we tackled Ben into a hug. Except for me. My butt was glued to the seat. Ashton placed his hands on my shoulders and massaged it comfortingly. I barely noticed the tears running down my face. Never in my life would I think of crying over Ben Westcott. They separated and Ben smiled at me, a smile which I returned. I'll miss you, I said to Ben. We will all miss you. I corrected myself. Heal well. Why? I nodded. Then he faced Jared. Take care of Bridget or my soul will come back to haunt you. The same goes for you. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I felt Ashton's hands on my shoulders tighten. Suddenly, it was like a blanket of sadness covered us. Our eyes were diverted to the ground. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Ben said, at least you'll be able to see my parents and Finn again. There was another knock. Are you done? Quick. Any last words from me? Ben asked. Ashton's hands left my shoulders. Yeah, he'd like to thank you for helping my pack. It was good knowing you. Ashton and Ben shook hands before Ashton exited the room. Then Lucy spoke. Listen, I am really grateful for the last few years. From the time you accepted Cole and I in the gang until now. I know Cole would never allow you to sacrifice your life for his. When he finds out, I'm not sure I can force him out of his shell of sadness, but I'll try my best. Then she gave him a long hug and left crying. Dennis cleared his throat. You know, I'm not good with these kinds of last words, but I'll try. It was a pleasure working for you for 5 years. You are not what it expected. You being 14 at that time. You are definitely a natural-born leader. I will miss you too. Dennis gave Ben an awkward hug and before he exited, he waved for the last time. I want to thank you, Bridget said, for saving me from Paul. You have no idea what it's like to be tortured every day for not meeting the expectations of a leader. I'm speaking on behalf of Jared and myself. You have saved me from close death. I thank you for that. It was good knowing you for a few days." She stood up and hugged him. Jared shook his hand and nodded sadly at Ben. Then they left. Now there was Justin, Jamie, Spencer and me left in the room. "Hey, thanks for assigning me to spy on Riley. Who knew she'd be Spencer's?" "Huh." Just unchuckled, humorlessly. "It was fun growing up with you and Finn. I'm happy that you did get to see him again. Say hi to Finny from me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." "Sure. I know Finn misses you." Ben said, his eyes sparkling with happiness. Justin gave Ben a bro hug and left. Jamie sniffed loudly. Ben extended his arms in Jamie's direction and Jamie tackled him. "I'll miss you so much. Benny. I never told you this, but I took all your Skittles." "What?" Ben's eyes snapped open. "You were the one who took my Skittles. I asked you if you knew where my Skittles were and you denied it." Jamie winced. I brought a peace offering so you can eye in peace." Jamie took out a packet of Skittles and handed it to Ben. "If you can taste the rainbow, you'll see the rainbow and find the leprechauns and unicorns. Maybe you'll see the fork and spoon having a picnic with their little sporks." Ben kindly accepted the pack of Skittles. "Okay, you'll keep an eye out for the leprechauns, unicorns, fork and spoon for you. Don't forget the sporks," Jamie added. "And the sporks," Ben said with a firm nod. Jamie gave Ben one last hug before leaving. But before his foot was firmly placed on the ground, he jumped back into Ben's arms, then finally leaving. "How do I start this?" Spencer mumbled. "It was nice meeting you." "No, it was a good meeting. How about, I'll miss you," Ben suggested. "Yes, I'll miss you," Spencer said. "I guess you didn't really have a heart of stone. You only have soft spots for your friends. I admire you for your leadership and coolness. I don't think he'll be as great as a leader as you'll ever be. Nevertheless, I feel honored that you chose me to continue." Spencer shook Ben's hand and stood next to me. Ben's eyes landed on me. "So anything to say?" "Riley." I fidgeted in my wheelchair. We started off not that well. But, in between, it was a great experience. At least I know you are afraid of height. That makes you more human. I promise to name my son after you and Finn. I will tell him all about the great Ben and how he turned my life upside down in one night. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I will not say what he did in that night, but I will say of the heroics he'd done. He made me trust him too quickly, and I would always form plans with him in his office. Then smiled. "Yeah, I'd like my name to be passed down. That'd be really cool." I smiled sadly. "I'll miss you so much. Then say hi to Finn for me and tell him about what I just said." He nodded and tossed me the pack of Skittles Jamie had given him. Jamie's birthday is coming up in a week's time. Give that to him for me and write a note that says that I saw the rainbow and followed it. Tell him I saw the leprechauns, unicorns. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Logan. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Spoon and sporks. It'll make him very happy. He gave me a mischievous wink. I smiled and nodded. "Yeah, I'll do that." The doctor knocked on the door again. "Time's up. We have to take Ben to the surgery room now." Ben nodded a goodbye to Spencer and I. Then the doctors and nurses covered him in a thin sheet and wheeled the bed out. The last thing I saw of Ben Westcott was his big toe that the sheet was able to cover. Chapter 44, Mom. Riley's POV. We sat in the waiting room. None of us had the strength to talk. We'd all ran out of tears and sat on chairs staring into empty space. Ashton sat next to me and took my hand in his much bigger one. He traced random patterns with the pad of his thumb. Then he brought my hand to his mouth and kissed it on the back. "It's going to be all right," he mumbled. "No, it isn't." I shook my head softly. "Not when my group of friends are slowly breaking apart." We stayed silent after that. My eyes were permanently glued to the door, where the doctor will deliver the news about Cole. Every second felt like an hour. As time dragged on, I began sleep IER. My eyes began drooping. I'd occasionally catch myself falling asleep. When I do, I would shake my head lightly, in hopes of clearing my sleepiness. Unfortunately, sometime down that road of unsuccessfulness, my head had decided to rest on Ashton's shoulder. I felt him adjusted himself so that he and I were in a more comfortable position. Right as I was drifting off, the doctor came in. Our heads snapped to her. Our eyes held worry and sadness. Worry for one of our friends, and sadness for the passing of another. Cole's sister, the doctor asked. Lucy stood up and walked to him. Yes, doctor. Did the surgery go well? The doctor didn't answer her question right away. He looked through some papers before answering her. The surgery went very well. There is a high chance that Cole will live. However, the doctor looked at her sternly. I can't guarantee that his body will accept the change of hearts. Lucy nodded her head. Okay, so he'll live. There is a 90% chance. The doctor corrected. He'll live, Lucy said. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The doctor said again. He will live, Lucy insisted. The doctor sighed, realizing that he won't win this argument. Fine, he'll live. If he doesn't live through this, I'm suing you. Lucy walked away, leaving the doctor close to pulling out his hair. Once the doctor left, I felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest. Cole's going to be all right. He has to be. Just need his body to accept Ben's heart. Cole's a flexible person. He isn't picky. Let's hope his body isn't picky. I rested my head back on Ashton's shoulder. This time, I had a small smile on. Everything is going to be all right. I whispered, repeating Ashton's words. I felt his lips press a soft kiss onto my head. Yes, it is, he mumbled. I walked through the forest full of giant trees. Soft soil seeped through the spacings between my toes. I slowly picked my way through fallen logs and trees standing in my way. Then I reached a very small clearing. I saw a very familiar woman standing on the other side. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Mom, I called hesitantly. She looked up and smiled softly. My mother looked like me, except that her face was more aged. Her eyes were identical to mine and her hair, like mine. Hello, Riley. Her soft, soothing voice greeted. I missed hearing her voice. It almost forgot what it sounded like. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I whimpered. My steps began to speed up and I reached out my arms to hug her, to smell her scent of burnt cookies and candles. But the closer I got, the farther she seemed to go. What's happening? Becoming the 10-year-old I was 6 years ago. Fearful and clueless. Mother smiled at me sadly. I'm so sorry. And you can't touch me. I looked at her wistfully. I miss you, Spencer and I. Her expression was soft as she said, I miss the both of you too. Then in a more serious tone said, I came here to talk to you about some things. I looked at her with interest. To our agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The corner of her lips twitched upward. About that boyfriend of yours. What's his name? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Then she snapped her fingers as a Eureka! To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Yes, that boy. Alpha's son. Riley, you've hit the jackpot. I'm so happy. My baby girl's finally getting out into the world and getting herself a boyfriend. I gaped at her in disbelief. Mom, how does she know all these things? Mother laughed loudly. Remember this, Riley. I'm always watching you and your brother. I know what's going on in both your lives, so don't act so shocked. She winked. But you won't be there when I finish the mating process, will you? Feeling nervous at the thought of my mom watching me during that time. Your face was filled with horror. Gosh, I hope not. I would most definitely not watch that boy take away my little girl's innocence. I sighed in relief. Good. I may not be living, Riley, but I still don't want you to have sex before marriage. I'm only letting you complete the mating process, then he has to keep his hands off. My mother said sternly. I mentally face-palmed myself. I can't believe I'm having this conversation with the ghost of my mother. Yes, I got it. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Her face relaxed, then immediately hardened. I actually came here to talk about the topic of your father. I stiffened. He escaped, didn't he? She nodded her head. But she is not going to be back for a while. But he'll be back for revenge. I'm warning you ahead of time so that you'll prepare Jessica. What has Jessica got to do with any of this? She'll be playing a big part in the future. My girl, my mom said. You can't tell her anything, I said. You and Lucy have to train her and her wolf. She needs to get stronger in 3 parts. Physically, mentally, and magic. Lucy will prepare her in physical. You in mental. And someone else in magic. Who's magic? My mother smiled mischievously. You'll see. You'll see. Jessica has a very interesting life. Let me tell you that. Yeah. I mumbled. She isn't like the others. Unique. My mother hummed. Looks like my time is up. I'll be visiting more often. Why? Always be expecting me. Wear your best pajamas because I want you to look good when I visit. Bye-bye, R.I. baby. Tell your brother I miss him and I am proud of him. I sat up quickly, waking Ashton, whose head was rested on mine. W.H.A. he mumbled sleepily. He rubbed his eye and looked at me concerned. Something wrong? Was it a nightmare? I smiled softly. I felt relaxed. Now that I have talked to my mom, I'm fine. I loved my dream. He smiled back. Wanna tell me about it? I kissed him softly, surprising him. No, I said against his lips. No, I don't. Just then, the doctor came back into the room silently. He realized that everyone in the room was asleep except for Ashton and I, who were kissing. He walked to us and cleared his throat. Ashton growled at him, making him bow his head in shame. What? Ashton growled. Cole has just awoken and is asking to see one of his friends. Chapter 45. I Love You, Riley's POV. The doctor led Ashton and I down various halls until we stopped at a door. The doctor opened the door and we entered. Cole was sitting up. He was looking around, clueless. When he spotted us, his relaxed slightly. To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Where's the war? When did I get here, Riley? You're back. I smiled and waved. Ashton brought me closer to Cole. How are you feeling? Cole touched the spot where Ben's heart laid. I feel like someone had ripped my heart out and shoved another one in its place. No laughing. I'm serious. My smile became forced. Cole, your heart was failing and you did a heart transplant. Cole's eyes widened. What? You were dying? To my agent extraordinaire, webnovel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I said flatly. He leaned back against the backboard and rubbed the bridge of his nose. I don't remember that. It was an organ donor. Right. Sure. A lump formed in my throat and I tried swallowing it down. With no success. You don't seem so sure. Cole narrowed his eyes at me. I forced a smile. I am sure. He didn't seem to believe me, but he let it slide. So, where's my baby sis? In the waiting room, sleeping. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Cole looked disappointed, but he nodded anyway. We stayed in silence until the doctor came back in. Cole needs his rest. Do you both mind leaving? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Ashton pulled me out of Cole's room. I waved goodbye at Cole and he nodded back at me. We made our way out of the maze of hallways. Ashton hummed softly and I could finally relax. Everyone is safe and Cole's alive. When we got to the waiting room, people were starting to stir from their sleepy states. Lucy looked at us in confusion. Where do you go? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He was awake, but he is resting right now. Lucy groaned in disappointment. You've got to be kidding me. Nope, not kidding. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You didn't tell him about. You know who? Right, Dennis asked. I shook my head. Maybe when he feels better. We can't dump all this info on him in one go. He'll get angry with himself and lock himself in his room for the rest of the day. Or maybe weeks. Justin said. What if we don't tell him? Idiot, Lucy snapped. Of course he will find out. He will be all like, hey, where's Ben? Have you seen Ben? She mimicked her brother with an overly deep voice. That wouldn't work. I'm telling you. He'll get mad at us and would start yelling at me, saying that I'm his sister. I'm supposed to tell him stuff like that. I sighed out loud. How do we tell him? If HE is going to ask about Ben, what do we say? He quit being a gang member. He went on a vacation. He suddenly got married and moved in. I gently rubbed my temple. I don't think we should lie. If none of you are going to do it, I will. No, Spencer cut in. I will. Ben appointed me as the new leader. I should be the one to tell him. At the same time, explain everything that's gonna happen. When no one objected, Spencer clapped his hands together. I don't know about you, but I am tired. I will see you people in the morning. Then I noticed the time. It was 11:25 p.m. Yeah, we should get some sleep, Jared mumbled. Then he took hold of my cousin's hand. Come on, Bridget. Let's get to bed. She obediently followed him. But before she went out the waiting room, she spun on her heel, yanked her hand out of Jared's grasp, and ran to me, tackling me in a tight hug. I gasped in surprise as Bridget squeezed me lightly with her thin arms. I'm so glad you came for me. Riley, so glad. I know what Dave's been doing to you for many years. I admire that about you. This is the first time I talked to you, so I don't know what you're like. From what I'd heard from Jared, you're just like me. It's a privilege to know you, Riley. You saved me from certain death. I relaxed my body and snaked my arms under hers, hugging her back. It's good to know another blood-related family member of mine, I said into her ear. She pulled away. Good night, everyone. She waved and disappeared with Jared. Well, Jamie said, standing. I'm going to sleep. Nighty-night, my pretties. Once Jamie left, Justin stood up. He pointed to the spot where Jamie was standing. He's not okay. I'll go talk to him. Good night, and don't think too much on the pessimistic side. Good night, guys. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'll see you in the morning. Ashton wheeled me back to my hospital room. He closed the door behind him and carried me to the bed. He gently set me down and sat in the chair. Come sleep here. I moved aside to make space for him on the bed. He shook his head. I'm fine. That was the question, I muttered. I reached for his hand, and when I got a firm grasp on it, I pulled him to me. He reluctantly stood up and sat on the bed. "Lie down," I commanded. I tugged gently on his shirt sleeve. He eased himself onto his back. His frame was rigid and stiff. I snaked my arms around his waist and buried my face into his chest. I felt his muscles clench at my sudden contact. "Relax," I cooed. "I'm not going to break into a million pieces. I can't relax." He turned his head to look at me. "I feel like the worst mate in the world. I don't deserve you." I know he is talking about what had happened before war. It was written all over his face. He felt guilty for letting me follow Paul. Hey, listen. It was bound to happen. It's not like I could have escaped it all. Paul targeted me. I can't just ignore and let him continue with the rouge attacks. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. This is, after all, my pack. He smiled softly and kissed me. I immediately responded. We kissed for a few moments before he trailed kisses along my jaw and down my throat. He sucked and nipped at various places before he traced his tongue on the spot where my neck and shoulder met. He sucked on that spot before he bit it. I gasped as searing pain shot out. When he pulled away, he licked the wound so that it was clean. I felt woozy. Sleep sounds very tempting at this moment. My eyelids began drooping. Then I felt his muscular arm slide around my waist, and he carefully tucked my head under his chin. "Riley, I've even meaning to tell you this for a while now, but because of the current event, I didn't get a chance to." I hummed softly and my fingers traced shapes on his back. "I love you." What did he say? "You might not have the same feelings towards me, but I do love you. I am really hoping you will one day return my feelings." I don't think you heard what he just said. Girls are always sleepy after they are marked. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You'll probably be very cranky when you wake up. Happened to every girl I know. One day happily skipping with their mate. Once they are marked, they yell at them like their life depends on it. I mumbled something incoherently and nuzzled my face into the crook of his neck. I sighed content lie, feeling like there was a stronger bond between Ashton and I.